The Malawi High Court has ruled that the extradition committal proceedings against self-professed prophet Shepherd Bushiri and his wife should continue. Judge Redson Kapindu delivered the ruling today after the state appealed a lower court ruling. Tshegohaco Moagi was following developments, and she joins us to help us understand what transpired during that hearing. So, Tshegohaco, let's start with what's at the heart of the matter today, at least.
Well, Dudu, good afternoon to you. So today, really, we're hearing whether or not the witnesses, South African witnesses, should actually go to Malawi to testify in this committal proceedings, in this extradition committal proceedings. And the High Court then ruling, this was a ruling actually, Dudu, that was done last year regarding whether South Africans should go to Malawi. The magistrate in that matter last year ruling that they need to travel to Malawi in order to testify in these committal proceedings around the extradition case of Shepherd Bushiri and his wife Mary. So from there, the state then appealed this particular ruling, and that is where we find ourselves then today, where the High Court then sat for about 2.5 hours that the judge was hearing these particular matters, and he really just said that there are other issues that the lower court can actually look into, and that there isn't necessarily a need for the South African witnesses to go to Malawi. However, this then still remains in the discretion of the court.
So, Tshegohaco, what does this mean for the South African witnesses?
So at this stage, the Malawi court will now decide whether or not it will stick to the decision that it has made. The magistrate's court will stick to the decision that it has made, that they need to go to Malawi to testify. This is what we are hearing from the High Court. But the High Court, Dudu, has really said that there is no need for them to actually testify in Malawi. Virtual proceedings can be heard. And even more, that a South African court, a competent South African court, can hear these proceedings, record them, and send them through to Malawi for them to be processed in Malawi during this extradition proceedings. So at the moment, the witnesses still wait to hear whether whether the magistrate's court will stick to that ruling that they definitely have to go to Malawi or not. But interestingly enough, during this particular ruling this afternoon, we did hear from the judge saying that, you know, there are flexible ways of doing things these days, that it does not necessarily mean that these witnesses have to travel all the way to Malawi to testify. But he also did say, and you know, he just gave some caution to some of the issues that may arise should there be an issue that they actually testify virtually. I mean, he spoke around issues like whether the evidence that is given, if there is evidence that is given, will then be leaked, because of the dangers of what happens with virtual hearings. But he did say that the prerogative now, the discretion, still lies with the magistrate's court on the way forward.
Just out of interest, were the Bushiris part of this process?
No, they were not. But we did see, of course, Wapona Kita. He is the attorney in this case for Bushiri and the wife. We also saw some of the followers and those that have been supporters of Shepherd Bushiri in these virtual hearings. We also did see the prophetic channel, which belongs to the self-professed prophet Shepherd Bushiri and his wife. We also saw that they were in these proceedings. But for Shepherd Bushiri and his wife themselves, we did not see their names in these proceedings this afternoon.
So when can we expect to hear from you again where this case is concerned? Where to from here?
Well, Dudu, that's an interesting one, because we then await now the decision from the magistrate's court as to what they will do, whether they will keep to the decision that they had taken, that indeed witnesses would need to travel to Malawi, or whether they will then perhaps decide that there is no need for them to go to Malawi, that they could hold the hearings virtually, or even better, that they could actually allow for them to go into a South African court and have the testimonies in that way. So we just await from the magistrate's court, because the High Court actually just sent everything back down to the magistrate's court for them to formalize their decision and to then take it forward.